When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to be back here with you again. Thank you again. It's cold out here, but you guys are standing strong. I love the energy. The drums are getting me going today. Hey, drums. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got, again, a lot of special guests today, and they're all here to support you. They're all here to show the support that you guys deserve. All right, so, right now, as we are standing here, your negotiation team is right now in discussions with the district. So our superintendent is standing right up there on the 5th floor, hopefully making some moves today so we can call the end to this strike, so we can get back in the classrooms, get back with our students. So let's hope and let's send a little positive energy to our negotiation team. They've been working really hard today since 9 a.m. I was with them last night. Till about 6 p.m. after they walked the line all day. They're tired. So if you know them, send them a text message, send them an email, just say, hey, we're thinking about you. Thank you for what you're doing, okay? Thank you, I appreciate that. All right, so we got a few guests here in the audience. I'm gonna use my, there we go. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge a special person in the audience today, the Secretary-Treasurer of the IFT, Miss Jane Russell. Jane is around here somewhere. There's Jane. Thanks, Jane, for being here today. I also like to acknowledge Kyle Stern, our Executive Vice President of Local 571, waving to you right there. Thank you, Kyle. Also a high school teacher here to support you today. All right, so we're going to get started today with a blessing from Reverend Robert Jones. You want to get up here on top of there? It's up to you.
You say stand on the table?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Step on the table. That way everyone can see.
Okay. Hey, all right, Reverend. Reverend is...
Can you see me? Let's pray. Gracious God, as we come at this time, we come for the blessings of your strength to those who are standing here today. Continue to give them the energy that they need to continue to fight, this good fight. We ask that you would be with the negotiating team as they are deliberating, that the things that they bring forth will be for the teachers and the students and this community. We ask that you open the mind and the hearts of those who refuse to give a fair contract to these hard-working teachers and staff. Continue to keep each and every one of us in every way you see fit. It is in your name that we pray and we give thanks. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend, very much for that. We appreciate that. All right. Our next speaker comes from right next door from Chicago, our brothers and sisters from the CTU. Today we have Tara Stamps, the Administrator for Teacher Development of the CTU, here to speak with you today.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. How are you all doing? I was out here yesterday with a few more of us just to share some little love, because whatever we do, we got to do it together. And what hurts one of us hurts all of us. And we need to be clear that what we're experiencing right now is just the overall attack on public education as we know it. Right? It would be so easy for us to, they want to water it down to 1 or 2 issues. But we know, those of us who live in the belly of the beast, that this is about an attack on public education. But what I want to say is, when you back us into a corner, if you come against my brother and my sister, you come against all of us. And so that's why we are here in solidarity with you today. And we are fighting with you, whether we're at our desk or in our office, because right up the road, just east, we stay in trouble. Right? We stay in trouble. We can almost not see our families for the amount of trouble that we stay in. with the leadership that we have in our city, but that's okay. You can beat us back, but you cannot beat us down. We will bend a little bit, but we will never break. And so we are so strong, and when we stand together, those of us who stand together are so much more powerful than the two that's in those top tier offices, because they know there's no way that they can do what you do on a regular basis. They know that if they were to sit in your classroom right now, they would be heading for the hills, going home crying, because they would not be able to provide. So I want you all to know that when you fight, you what? When we fight, we what? When we fight, we win. It was true yesterday. It was true before that. It's true today, and it'll be true tomorrow. I want to say we have another guest. I believe is our sister Delia here. Is our sister Delia Ramirez here? Okay, Sister Delia, I want to just say that you may see her. This is a powerful woman who is rooted and ready to fight on behalf of the 3rd Congressional District. We got a sister that is homegrown, raised, rooted and ready to fight. Sister Delia Ramirez is supported by the IFT and certainly by their little brothers and sisters at CTU. So when you do see her, you see that name coming across your ballot, remember that she is standing with you in this fight as well. My brothers and sisters, I can't say this enough. I can't say this though. The fact that we are at the end, toward the end, I guess, of a pandemic that held this world hostage for 2 years, caused, we have yet to know what the collateral fallout will be for the devastation that has happened all across this planet. So the fact that education and the way that we knew life was completely disrupted, and our babies, remember that class of 2020 had nothing, right? So much disruption has gone on. The fact that we got good, working Americans, educators who are indeed frontline workers, have to call a strike because of a contract, because we want decent classroom sizes, because we want to make the money that our degree indicates that we should have, right? The degrees that we paid for to be in this work. The fact that we now have to call a strike for just common good bargaining, common decency is, I don't know, my words fail me right now. It is an abomination. It is an abomination. But please continue to lift up the people that's at the table. Send them your love. Send them your energy. Send whatever you can do to keep them in that fight. Keep them in that fight and keep them at that table. And don't leave until you get what you came for. A lot of times they want to scare us off the table. They want to throw a crumb and make you think it's a loaf of bread. I'm here to tell you, you deserve everything you are demanding. And power concedes nothing without a demand. Anything we got, a union fought for us to have it. Every single thing we have, from the weekend to a prep, a lunch period, they're not going to ever just give it to us. Don't be afraid to fight. Don't be afraid to knuckle up. Don't be afraid to get ugly. Don't be afraid to scrap. Because when you fight, you win.
All right, Delia's here, so hold on 1 second. Got to get a little love first, a little love.
All right, you ready? I'm rooted.
All right.
I'm rooted and I'm ready. How's everyone doing on this sunny day? You're ready to win, right? My name is Delia Ramirez. I think Tara already introduced me. I am the state representative in the 4th House District. I'm also running for Congress to take the work of education at the federal level, because we know we need to do a lot more for our kids, for our schools, for our teachers, and our communities. But today I'm here with you because I echo every single thing this lady here just said. Our teachers deserve everything. You have been the heroes in our communities during this pandemic. before this pandemic, and you will continue to do so during the recovery from this pandemic. I am standing here with you saying that I am going to fight like hell with you, champion you, call every single person that I must call to demand that you get the fair wages you deserve so that our schools have the quality education, the resources it needs to be competitive and to be able to give our children the best education that they deserve. These schools are mostly Black and Latino schools. We wouldn't be having this conversation in other areas, right? You wouldn't be challenging, you wouldn't be shaming our teachers in other areas. But when we are in communities that have been marginalized by a system filled with white supremacy, here you are shaming our teachers for wanting to have good, quality schools and paid their deserving wages. So I stand with you. I want to make sure that we're able to recruit our teachers. I want to make sure that we're able to retain our teachers. And I want to make sure that these schools are competitive in the same way that all of those other schools are competitive. So I am with you today. I was with you yesterday. And you better be darn sure I will be with you every single day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate all the speakers today. Next, I'm going to go to, hold on. Okay, go to there. All right, here we go. Our next speaker from Arise Chicago, Reverend C.J. Hawkins.
Arise Chicago and the thousands of clergy and hundreds of thousands of congregants stand with you today in your righteous struggle. We ask, why does a student in Oak Park arrive to the state-of-the-art high school when just a little bit west of there, students are struggling for music and art and technology classes? Why is that? Why is it that the teachers at Oak Park are given a living wage and good health care and regular increases, but the teachers at Proviso are treated like second-class citizens, earning grossly below what their counterparts make in Oak Park? Why is that? Why is it that you all were heroes in the pandemic and now you're being treated like villains because you want to stand up for yourself and demand the wages that you rightfully deserve? Why is that? The moment has come. The superintendent, the management, the government all need to ante up. We're not playing poker here. Our hand has been dealt to us, and we are standing together as a community, and it's time for them to ante up and pay you all your fair share. Again, yours is a righteous struggle, and Arise Chicago stands with you.
Thank you very much for that. All right. Obviously, a lot of surrounding communities have been showing their support in many different ways. Today, we do have the mayor of Westchester who has joined us. Nick Stecker would like to say a few words.
Thank you, everyone. I just want you to know that I stand in solidarity with you guys as a fellow union member. I'm a Franklin Park firefighter, local 1526. I stand with the teachers and educators out here. Many of the Proviso mayors have been out here showing their support for you guys. There's a lot of troubling numbers that I've seen over the last few weeks since this all began, and it's very apparent where my tax dollars are going. And that is going into the upper administrative and not into the classrooms. And that bothers me. As a father of 2 young children in this district and a taxpayer for too long, I'm tired of seeing the discrepancy and the wage gap between the top tier here at Proviso and the people that have the boots on the ground in the classroom, that know the heartbeat of these buildings, these 3 buildings. And when there's a $100,000 gap between the average administrator and staff, there's a problem. So, Superintendent, if you can hear me, invest in the classroom. The classroom is out here. Invest in this group right here. This is where I want my tax dollars to go into the teachers. You guys are the ones making the direct impact on the students.
He'll tell you he hears you, but he won't pay any attention.
Well, then maybe I should make an appointment and talk to him one-on-one. All right. And maybe I'll get some of the rest of the mayors from Proviso to do that as well. So, all right. Well, thank you all. I'm with you.
Nick gets it. He gets it. Now we got to get them to understand it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is no stranger. We saw him on Friday. He's back again to offer some words of support. The president of the Illinois Federation of Teachers, Mr. Dan Montgomery.
Oh, what the hell? Why am I back? This was supposed to be over by now. You remember on Friday, I said that this was the board of no, right? How many bargaining sessions took place between Friday and today? 2? 1, 2? Was it really 2? Okay, great. They're at our office now. Your team is at the IFT headquarters in Westmont right now, bargaining. Send them some love. On Zoom with the other side. You know, I don't know about you. I know it's been tough with Zoom, and we've had to do remote teaching and all that. But if you're really serious about a deal, now you get in the same damn room. And you make it work. You make it work. I just came. Oh, here's our national president. I better watch what I say. We just came from 130th and Halstead, where our brothers, sisters, our colleagues in Riverdale are on strike too. There's 19 teachers on strike in Riverdale. That's the entire district. It's an elementary school. Are they courageous or what? Send them some love! Woo! Their president, Sabrina Hawthorne, grabbed me before we left and said, I want you to tell those striking teachers in Proviso that we are inspired by them. We see what you're doing, and we are with you and sending our love. So you should know that from them. And send it back to them, too. You know, you don't get to this point. You know this. You don't get to this point unless you are pushed very far. You have tried. You have used every ounce of ingenuity of your brains, your goodwill, and you have been snubbed and refused at every turn. That's why you're here. Don't fall for what they're saying over there. It's crap and you know it. It's your heart now that you have, your solidarity. Turn to your right, turn to your left. Look at your brothers, your sisters, your union colleagues. You are the heart of this district. Grab them, hug them, kiss them. As long as they say okay. And know that you will prevail. You will prevail. You've already won the fight. You've already won the fight for your schools. All right. Let me tell you, we got, Rachel, are you going to introduce Randy?
Dan, go ahead.
Okay, all right. I think she just came from Minneapolis, then she came down to Riverdale, probably the smallest district she's ever been on the line with. I used to teach The Grapes of Wrath as an English teacher. You know, Tom Joad says, Ma, wherever there's a picket line, that's where I'll be. That's Randy Weingarten. Wherever there's a picket line, she is with us every day, and she's here with you, Proviso!
Feel free to get all the way on top if you want to.
Okay, I've never been so tall, but that must be because I am with the mighty, mighty, mighty Proviso educators. All right, so I have no voice left, so you have to listen, okay? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Do you think Superintendent Henderson can hear me? Well, that means because he's not listening. And you can tell he's not listening because you're out on strike. Yep. Because, and I was just, you know, this week, we got 16,000 school districts in the United States of America. Every single one of them is going through, and educators in every single one of them, you know, are going through a lot of you-know-what. It's not like this is the easiest year we've ever had. It's kind of like the opposite. And often, last summer, we would say to people, yes, I know last year was bad. This coming year is going to be even worse. Because essentially what is happening is that in your schools shows up every single challenge right now in America. Every one of them. Every one. Every single one. And it's not as if America is used to dealing with once-in-a-century pandemics. You know, we all want it over. We all wanted it over before it started. But what happens is all the effects are showing up in your classrooms, or your gyms, or your cafeterias, or on the buses. And so, the districts around the country, most of them that are not on strike, it's because people understand this, and the educators, whether they are principals or superintendents or teachers or paras, bus drivers, people are trying to work together to figure out how we deal with it. It's not like the challenges are easy, but this is why your superintendent, the superintendent in Patton, and frankly the superintendent in Minneapolis, they deserve a special place in you-know-what. Because instead of actually rolling up their sleeves and working with us to deal with the challenges and the problems, they have you out on strike. It's just wrong. It's immoral and it's wrong. And what's the and why? This year in particular, frankly, the money is there. We almost never can say that.
Not for the teachers.
Exactly right. But the money today is the anniversary of the American Rescue Plan. Now, I don't know about any of you, but I never saw that much money from the federal government for schools ever. Okay, right. It's a one-shot or a two-shot. But it was there to try to deal with all of the issues of a once-in-a-century pandemic.
Including the fact that there are real shortages of educators. And the way in which you... Did I kill the mic? I'm gonna use my teacher voice. And the way in which you deal with shortages is you have to pay people See, a teacher. How much innovation is now happening in the last 2 minutes? So, the way you deal with shortages is not to bring in the National Guard. The way you deal with shortages is to attract and retain teachers by paying them enough so that they can have a living wage and parents can have a living wage, and by making sure we have enough nurses and guidance counselors, all of which is contemplated by the American Rescue Plan, which was passed a year ago. And your superintendent knows this, and people all over Illinois know this. So, really, truly, forcing you to be on strike instead of dealing with these issues, not actually understanding that we're in this boat together to help our kids succeed, to me, that means he gets a failing grade.
He sure does!
And to me, it means that we gotta actually teach him a lesson in terms of how you create the schools our kids deserve.
Teach it! That's right!
And how you create the beloved community that works together to help our kids heal.
That's right!
And sometimes it takes a strike to do that. And it's really unfortunate, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So, the bottom line is this. I know, because you've been out, all of a sudden, there's a little bit of motion. That should have happened before you went out.
That's right.
If they could do that now, they could have done it before.
Right.
But the bottom line is for us that we gotta send a message. It's two messages we gotta send. Number one is, we are in this to help our country, our kids, recover and heal. And that requires that people, teachers, parents, get treated decently. You cannot heal unless everyone is treated decently. And number two, because your superintendent acts like he acts, then there is a little saying, got a lot of help here, then there's a little saying that we said when Scott Walker became governor, and there was all sorts of sturm and drang in Wisconsin. You notice it took a while, but then Scott Walker was not governor anymore. But there was a saying we had, and that was, and I said that, we said that in Patton too, one day longer, one day stronger.
Before I end, we're going to end with that saying.
Sorry, we're going to end with that saying. I want to say one more thing, which is this. This is a really, really, really hard time right now in America. It is a fight, not just here, but in Ukraine, of democracy versus autocracy. A voice of decency versus factionalism, division, polarization. I'm a social studies teacher, and I taught Hamilton and Madison. And they were worried that when you have this kind of division and factionalism, like your superintendent has tried to create and wedge in this community by refusing to solve real problems, they were worried that it could be the fracturing of our country. I know, as I look at all of your faces, that we are about aspiration.
Yes.
We are about having a future for our kids.
Yes,
and we're
right.
about having a future for ourselves in the beloved community, making sure that schools are the center of communities that heal and recover.
That's right. That's right.
And when we fight for decent wages, and when we fight for decent communities and decent conditions, that is what we're fighting for. This is a bigger fight than just a contract fight. It's a fight for decency. It is a fight for fairness. It is a fight for the aspirations of America. So, one day longer, one day stronger. 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 One day longer. If and when we do that, because we are fighting the righteous fight, we will win.
Hello, hello. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. Let's give Randy a round of applause, please. She's jet setting all over these states here to join us, and again, we appreciate